The bell rang, signaling the end of another school day at Westlake High. Olivia Reeves stuffed her chemistry textbook into her backpack, already dreading the homework she'd have to tackle that evening. As students rushed past her toward freedom, Olivia moved slowly in no particular hurry to get home. Her parents would be waiting with that look on their faces, the one that said they had another. Brilliant idea for her future, she was right. Signed you up for band, her mother announced the moment. Olivia walked through the front door. Her mom stood in the kitchen chopping vegetables with the precision of a surgeon, not even looking up as she delivered this bomb. You what? Olivia dropped her backpack on the floor with a thud. Mom, I've never played an instrument in my life. Her father appeared from his home office, reading glasses perched on his nose. That's exactly the point, honey. College applications are due in a few months and you need something besides good grades. Extracurriculars matter. But band? Why not debate club or, I don't know, literally anything else? Olivia slumped against the wall. At 17, she thought she'd at least have some say in how she spent her free time. Her mother set down the knife. The band director, Mr. Chen, said they need more people. He's willing to take beginners and it looks good on applications. She smiled as if she'd just offered Olivia a surprise vacation instead of musical torture. Great, so I get to embarrass myself in front of the whole school. Perfect. Olivia grabbed an apple from the fruit bowl and took an aggressive bite. Don't be so dramatic, her father said. You start tomorrow. Mr. Chen will figure out what instrument suits you best. Olivia opened her mouth to protest further but knew it was pointless. Her parents had made up their minds. College applications were the holy grail in the Reeves household, the golden ticket to a future better than their working-class reality. The next day, Olivia dragged her feet down the hallway toward the music room. The sound of instruments warming up leaked through the closed door, some in tune, others painfully not. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open. The room was larger than she expected, with tiered seating and instrument cases scattered everywhere. Students chatted in small groups, some playing short riffs to impress their friends, others adjusting their sheet music on metal stands. Can I help you? A man in his 40s with kind eyes and a blue button-up shirt approached her. I'm Olivia Reeves. My parents signed me up yesterday. She tried to keep the resentment from her voice. Recognition flashed across his face. Ah, yes, Miss Reeves, I'm Mr. Chen. He gestured for her to follow him. Your parents mentioned you have no musical background? None whatsoever, Olivia admitted. I'm not sure this is going to work out, Mr. Chen. He studied her for a moment. Let's not decide that before we've even begun. Tell me, do you like music? Olivia shrugged. I listen to stuff. But playing it? I don't know. Sometimes the best musicians are the ones who never plan to become musicians at all. Mr. Chen led her to a corner where various percussion instruments were arranged. Let's try something straightforward to start. Percussion might be a good fit. You can learn the basics fairly quickly. Olivia eyed the drums with apprehension. Those look complicated. Not starting you there. He picked up a tambourine and handed it to her. This will be your instrument for now. Olivia took the tambourine, feeling ridiculous. You're joking, right? The tambourine is an ancient and respected instrument, Mr. Chen said without a hint of mockery. It adds color and texture to our arrangements. For the spring concert, we're doing a piece that features percussion prominently. So I just shake it. Mr. Chen demonstrated a simple rhythm, his hand moving the tambourine in short, controlled motions. The metal discs jingled pleasantly. There's technique to it. You'll need to maintain consistent timing and know when to emphasize certain beats. The spring concert is in 2 months? And all I'll be doing is shaking this thing? Olivia couldn't hide her disappointment. Even if she hadn't wanted to join band, being given what seemed like the musical equivalent of busy work felt insulting. Everyone starts somewhere, Olivia. Mr. Chen's voice was firm, but kind. Focus on mastering this rhythm for now. Trust me, it's more important than you think. The first band practice was every bit as awkward as Olivia had feared. She sat in the percussion section, surrounded by students who clearly knew what they were doing. A boy named Raj played the drum set with impressive skill. Another student, Zoe, managed a complex pattern on the marimba. And then there was Olivia, tapping her tambourine like a toddler with a toy. Don't worry about it, Zoe whispered during a break. Everyone feels lost at first. I'm not lost, Olivia whispered back. I know exactly where I am, at the bottom of the musical food chain. Zoe laughed. At least you've got rhythm. That tall guy over there, she nodded toward a lanky boy with the trumpet, has been here 3 years and still can't count to 4 consistently. That made Olivia smile despite herself. For the next week, she practiced her simple tambourine part at home, feeling silly every time the metal discs jingled. Her younger brother Leo would walk by her room and snicker. "Wow, sis, you're practically ready for Carnegie Hall," he teased one evening. Olivia threw a pillow at him. "Shut up, it's for college applications." "Sure, but there are easier ways to pad your resume. Tell that to Mom and Dad." The following Monday, Olivia arrived early to the music room, hoping to practice without an audience. To her surprise, the room wasn't empty. Raj was there, working through a complicated drum pattern, his hands moving so fast they almost blurred. He stopped when he noticed her. "Hey, new tambourine girl." "Hey, drum guy." Olivia hesitated near the door. "Don't let me interrupt." "Nah, I was just messing around." Raj twirled one drumstick between his fingers. "How's the tambourine treating you?" "It's thrilling," Olivia deadpanned. "Really stretching my artistic abilities." Raj laughed. "Everyone starts somewhere. Mr. Chen had me playing nothing but quarter notes on the bass drum for a month before he let me touch a full kit." "Really?" "Why foundation?" Raj said simply. "You can't build a house on shaky ground." Olivia moved closer to the percussion section, eyeing the various instruments with newfound curiosity. "How long have you been playing?" "Since 4th grade. But seriously, don't get discouraged. That simple rhythm you're playing? It anchors the whole second movement. If you're off, everyone gets thrown." "No pressure or anything," Olivia muttered, picking up her tambourine from its designated shelf. Raj stood up from the drum set. "Here, let me show you something." He took the tambourine from her and demonstrated how to hold it. "You're gripping it too hard. Let it rest lightly against your palm like this. Then when you tap it against your hand," he demonstrated, producing a crisp sound, "you get a cleaner tone." Olivia tried it his way, surprised at the difference. "That does sound better, see? Even tambourine has technique." Raj grinned. "You coming to Zoe's party Friday?" "I wasn't invited," Olivia said, feeling a familiar twinge of being on the outside. "Consider yourself invited now. Zoe probably figured you wouldn't be interested. Band geeks hang out together, but we're not completely cliquish." More students began filtering into the room, ending their conversation. During practice, Olivia found herself actually focusing on her part, trying to apply what Raj had shown her. Mr. Chen noticed the difference. "Much better, Olivia," he said after stopping the band mid-piece to correct the flute section. "That's exactly the tone we need there." A small glow of satisfaction warmed her chest, surprising her. It was such a tiny thing, but the validation felt unexpectedly good. After practice, Zoe approached her. "Raj said he told you about Friday. You should definitely come. My parents are out of town and my older sister is supposed to be watching me, but she'll be with her boyfriend." "I don't know," Olivia hedged. "I'm not really part of your group." "You are now," Zoe insisted. "Band is family, even if you're just passing through for college application purposes." Olivia blinked, surprised that her motivations were so transparent. "Don't look shocked," Zoe laughed. "Half the seniors joined for the same reason. Raj is going for a music scholarship, and I genuinely love playing. But we're in the minority." That night, as Olivia half-heartedly practiced her tambourine part in her bedroom, she found her mind wandering to the other percussion instruments. The drum set in particular had caught her attention. All those different sounds controlled by one person. It seemed both impossible and fascinating. Her phone buzzed with a text from Zoe. "You better be coming Friday. Address below. Bring chips or soda or something." Olivia stared at the message, a small smile forming. Maybe this band thing wouldn't be a complete disaster after all. She still felt ridiculous with her tambourine, still resented being forced into this by her parents, but something had shifted. A tiny seed of interest had been planted. She set down the tambourine and picked up her pencil, tapping it against her desk in the rhythm she'd been practicing. Without the jingle of the metal discs, she could focus more on the pattern itself, the way it flowed and repeated. For a moment, lost in the rhythm, she forgot about college applications and parental expectations. It was just her and the beat, and somehow that was enough. Zoe's party turned out to be more fun than Olivia expected. The band kids weren't the stereotypical nerds she'd imagined. They were funny, passionate about music, and surprisingly normal. They welcomed her without question, as if shaking a tambourine for 2 weeks had earned her a lifetime membership in their circle. "So you really never played anything before?" asked Diego, a trumpet player with thick glasses and an infectious laugh. "Not even recorder in elementary school?" Zoe added, passing Olivia a soda. "My elementary school didn't have a music program," Olivia explained. "Budget cuts," Raj shook his head. "That's messed up. Music should be a right, not a privilege," says the guy whose parents bought him a custom drum kit for his 13th birthday, Zoe teased. "Hey, I'm not saying I'm not privileged," Raj threw a chip at her. "I'm saying everyone should have the chance." Later that night, as they all sprawled across Zoe's living room floor, someone suggested they play their favorite songs. People took turns connecting their phones to the speakers, explaining why each song mattered to them. When it was Olivia's turn, she hesitated. "I don't know if mine counts as real music to you guys." "There's no such thing as real music," Mr. Chen had said during a recent practice. "Only honest music and dishonest music." Olivia played a hip-hop track with complex percussion. As the beat filled the room, she found herself tapping her fingers against her leg, following the rhythm. Raj noticed. "You've got good instincts," he said. "You're catching all the ghost notes." "The what?" "Ghost notes. The quiet hits between the main beats. They're subtle, but they drive the groove forward." He demonstrated with his hands on his knees, playing the pattern she'd been unconsciously following. "I didn't even realize I was doing that," Olivia admitted. "Natural rhythm." Raj nodded approvingly. "Some people study for years and never get it." On Monday after school, Olivia arrived early for band practice. The music room was empty, which wasn't unusual. Mr. Chen often left it unlocked for students who wanted to practice. She set her backpack down and took out her tambourine, running through her part for the spring concert piece. After a few minutes, her eyes drifted to the drum set in the corner. She'd been watching Raj play for weeks now, observing the way his hands and feet worked independently yet together, creating a foundation for the entire band. Olivia glanced at the clock. Practice wouldn't start for another 20 minutes. No one was around. Before she could talk herself out of it, she walked over to the drum set and sat down on the stool. It felt strange being surrounded by drums and cymbals, like sitting in the cockpit of a plane she had no idea how to fly. She picked up the drumsticks, surprised by how light they felt. Tentatively, she tapped the snare drum, then one of the toms. The sound was much louder than she expected, and she looked guiltily toward the door, half expecting Mr. Chen to burst in and scold her, but no one came. Growing bolder, Olivia tried hitting the bass drum with the foot pedal while tapping the hi-hat with the other foot. It was awkward at first, like her limbs were fighting each other. But something about it felt right, too. Like her body was solving a puzzle her mind didn't fully understand yet. She thought back to the rhythm of her favorite song from the party. Without overthinking it, she tried to recreate the pattern, starting simple with the bass and snare. The first attempt was clumsy. The second was better. By the third try, she was beginning to find a groove, not perfect but recognizable. That's not bad at all. Olivia jumped, nearly dropping the sticks. An older man stood in the doorway, Mr. Rivera, the evening custodian. He had a mop in his hands and a surprised look on his face. "I'm sorry," Olivia stammered. Standing up so quickly she knocked over a cymbal stand. She lunged to catch it before it crashed to the floor. "I shouldn't be touching this." Mr. Rivera shook his head. "No need to apologize. Students are allowed to practice on the instruments." He leaned on his mop. "I just haven't seen you on the drums before." "I'm supposed to play the tambourine," Olivia said, feeling embarrassed. "I was just curious. Curious is good." Mr. Rivera smiled. "My son played drums in this band 10 years ago. Went on to study music in college." He nodded toward the drum set. "You've got a feel for it. Most beginners can't coordinate their hands and feet like that." "Really?" Olivia looked back at the drums with new eyes. "Really? You should ask Mr. Chen about it." "Oh no." Olivia shook her head quickly. "I'm just here for the credits. College applications, you know? Besides, they already have Raj. He's amazing." Mr. Rivera shrugged. "No rule says a band can only have one drummer." He checked his watch. "I've got the gym to clean before the basketball game. But don't sell yourself short, young lady." After he left, Olivia sat back down at the drum set, Mr. Rivera's words echoing in her mind. She had just raised the sticks again when she heard voices in the hallway. Quickly, she returned to her spot in the percussion section, tambourine in hand as if she'd been there all along. Over the next 2 weeks, Olivia developed a routine. She'd arrive early to practice on the drum set, carefully replacing everything exactly as she found it before anyone arrived. Sometimes she stayed late too, after Mr. Chen had gone but while Mr. Rivera was still cleaning nearby rooms. The custodian became an unexpected ally, occasionally offering tips. My son used to struggle with that same Phil. Or just a nod of encouragement. Once, he even brought in an old practice pad his son no longer used. For home, he explained, handing her the rubber surface mounted on a wooden base, so you can practice your sticking without driving your family crazy. At home, Olivia found herself practicing for hours, tapping rhythms on the practice pad while doing homework or watching TV. Her brother Leo noticed the change. "What happened to, 'I'm only doing this for college'?" he asked, catching her practicing paradiddles, a basic drum rudiment Mr. Rivera had shown her, while reading her history textbook. "Shut up," Olivia said without heat. "It's just interesting, that's all." "Right. That's why you've been watching drum tutorials on YouTube every night." Olivia threw her pencil at him, but Leo was right. She had fallen down a rabbit hole of drumming videos, amazed at what was possible on an instrument she'd never given a second thought to before. In band class, she continued playing the tambourine, but with new understanding. She could hear how her simple part connected with what Raj was playing, how it fit into the larger rhythmic structure. Mr. Chen noticed her improvement. "You're really getting the feel of it now," he said after a particularly good rehearsal. "That's exactly what the piece needs." Olivia just nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She'd almost slipped up and demonstrated a more complex tambourine pattern she'd been practicing at home, before remembering her assigned part was deliberately simple. One Friday afternoon, 3 weeks before the spring concert, disaster struck. Raj didn't show up for practice, which was unusual. Just as Mr. Chen was about to start without him, Zoe burst into the room out of breath. "Raj wiped out on his skateboard," she announced to the room. "Broke his wrist. He's at the emergency room right now." A collective groan went through the band. Mr. Chen looked particularly worried. "Did he say how bad it is?" "Bad enough. His mom says he'll be in a cast for at least 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Olivia did the math. The concert was in 3 weeks. Her heart pounded as the implications sank in. "All right, everyone settle down," Mr. Chen said, though he looked unsettled himself. "We'll figure this out. For today, let's work on the pieces that don't feature percussion as heavily." After practice, Zoe caught up with Olivia in the hallway. "This is a disaster. Raj had solos in 2 pieces. Couldn't someone else from percussion fill in?" Olivia suggested, trying to sound casual. "Like who? Diego can barely play a straight beat on the bass drum when we let him try, and the middle schoolers aren't ready for our arrangements." Zoe sighed dramatically. "Mr. Chen will probably have to simplify everything, which will totally ruin the dynamic parts." That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the drum set sitting unused in the band room, about the hours she'd spent secretly practicing, about Mr. Rivera's encouragement. But then she thought about actually playing in front of people. Parents, teachers, the whole school. The very idea made her stomach twist with anxiety. What if she messed up? What if everyone laughed? What if she let the whole band down? No, it was too risky. She was just a beginner, teaching herself from YouTube videos and with occasional tips from a custodian. She wasn't ready. The next day was Saturday. Normally, Olivia would sleep in, but instead she found herself wide awake at 7 a.m., unable to quiet her thoughts. On impulse, she texted Zoe, "Is the school open today? Any chance we could get into the band room?" The response came a few minutes later. "Mr. Chen has middle school band from 9/11. Why?" Olivia took a deep breath and typed, "I need to show you something." 2 hours later, Olivia sat at the drum set with Zoe watching, open-mouthed. As Olivia played through the main groove of their closing number, not perfectly, but recognizably, "How long have you been practicing?" Zoe demanded when Olivia finally stopped. "A few weeks? Just messing around, really. A few weeks? Are you kidding me? And you've been hiding this because—" Olivia shrugged, suddenly embarrassed. "I don't know. It felt like I was cheating on the tambourine or something." "Cheating on the—" Zoe broke into laughter. Olivia, this is amazing. You have to tell Mr. Chen. No way, Olivia shook her head firmly. I'm not ready. I'd totally embarrass myself. You won't, Zoe insisted. Look, no one's expecting you to be Raj, but right now we literally have no drummer. Even if you just played the basic beats, it would be better than nothing. Olivia bit her lip, considering. I don't know. At least think about it. Zoe pulled out her phone. Also, I may have recorded that last part. For evidence. Evidence of what? That you've been holding out on us, and that you might just save the spring concert. Olivia spent the entire weekend in a panic. Every few hours, her phone would buzz with another message from Zoe. Have you decided yet? Mr. Chen is freaking out about the concert. Just let me show him the video. By Sunday night, Olivia had turned off her notifications altogether. She sat cross-legged on her bed, headphones on, tapping drum patterns on her practice pad. The repetitive motion calmed her racing thoughts. A knock on her door broke her concentration. Her mom peeked in. Everything okay? You've been awfully quiet this weekend. Just studying, Olivia lied, quickly sliding the practice pad under her pillow. Her mom sat on the edge of the bed. How's band going? You haven't complained about it lately. Olivia shrugged. It's fine. Just fine. A few weeks ago it was totally pointless and complete torture. I guess it's not as bad as I thought, Olivia admitted. The people are cool, her mom smiled. I'm glad to hear that. Your father and I are looking forward to the concert. First row tickets right in the center. Olivia's stomach dropped. You don't have to come. It's not a big deal. Of course we're coming. Our daughter's first musical performance. We wouldn't miss it. As her mom left the room, Olivia flopped back on her bed with a groan. Now her parents would be front and center, watching her either embarrass herself on the drums or shake a tambourine while the band struggled through simplified arrangements. Neither option felt good. Monday morning arrived with gray skies and drizzling rain, matching Olivia's mood perfectly. She slogged through her morning classes, dreading band practice after lunch. In the cafeteria, Zoe slid onto the bench beside her, not bothering with a greeting. Raj is officially out for the concert. Doctor says no playing for at least 6 weeks, maybe longer if it doesn't heal right. That sucks, Olivia said, pushing her food around her tray. Yeah, it does. So what? Zoe rolled her eyes. So are you going to step up or not? I can't, Zoe. Olivia's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm not ready. I've only been messing around for a few weeks. Raj has been playing since 4th grade. Nobody expects you to be Raj. We just need someone who can keep time. There must be someone else. There isn't, Zoe cut her off. Mr. Chen is talking about cutting the percussion features completely. Do you know how hard we've all worked on those pieces? The guilt trip was working. Olivia felt awful imagining the band having to scrap parts of their program because of her cowardice. I'll think about it, she finally said. Think fast, Zoe replied, standing up. Mr. Chen is holding emergency drumming auditions today after school. What? You didn't tell me that. I'm telling you now. Zoe started walking away, then turned back. Oh, and if you don't volunteer, I'm showing him the video anyway. Olivia gaped at her. You wouldn't? Try me. Zoe's face softened. Look, I'm not doing this to be mean. You're good, Olivia. Really good for a beginner. The band needs you, whether you believe in yourself or not. The rest of the day crawled by. Olivia couldn't focus on any of her classes, mentally running through drum patterns instead of taking notes. By the time the final bell rang, she'd made her decision. She wouldn't audition. It was too scary, too public, too much pressure. She'd rather just stick with the tambourine than risk making a fool of herself. But as she approached the band room, she heard the unmistakable sound of someone struggling through one of their concert pieces on the drums. The timing was off, the fills were clumsy, and whoever was playing seemed to have only a casual relationship with the concept of rhythm. Olivia peered through the small window in the door. Diego sat at the drum set, face scrunched in concentration, while Mr. Chen stood nearby looking increasingly distressed. The rest of the percussion section watched with expressions ranging from amusement to horror. Zoe caught sight of Olivia through the window and immediately darted to the door, pulling it open. She's here, Zoe announced, dragging Olivia into the room by her sleeve. I found our drummer. All eyes turned to Olivia. She felt her face grow hot. I didn't say I would. Ms. Reeves? Mr. Chen looked confused. You play drums? No. I mean, not really. I've just been practicing a little. For fun. She's being modest, Zoe insisted, pulling out her phone. Watch this. Before Olivia could stop her, Zoe pressed play on the video she'd taken Saturday. The sound quality wasn't great, but it clearly showed Olivia playing through one of the band's pieces with surprising competence. When the video ended, the room was silent. Mr. Chen studied Olivia with newfound interest. How long have you been playing? He finally asked. Olivia stared at her shoes. A few weeks? Just messing around after practice sometimes. A few weeks, Mr. Chen repeated, sounding skeptical. And you've had no formal instruction? Well, Mr. Rivera gave me some pointers, and I watched some YouTube tutorials. Mr. Rivera, the custodian? Olivia nodded. His son was a drummer. Mr. Chen exchanged glances with the other percussion students. Would you be willing to play something for us now, Liv? Every instinct told Olivia to run, but Zoe's steady gaze kept her rooted to the spot. Slowly, she nodded. Diego happily surrendered the drum throne, looking relieved. Olivia sat down, adjusting the height of the stool and positioning the snare drum where it felt comfortable. The familiar setup calmed her nerves slightly. What should I play? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. How about the opening of Rhythmic Horizons? Mr. Chen suggested. It starts with just drums before the rest of the band comes in. Olivia had practiced that part dozens of times in her secret sessions. She took a deep breath, counted herself in silently, and began to play. It wasn't perfect. She flubbed one of the fills and her timing wavered in spots, but the essential groove was there, the backbone of the piece that would support the entire band. When she finished, Mr. Chen was nodding thoughtfully. Remarkable progress for just a few weeks, he said. You have a natural feel for rhythm. That's something that can't be taught. Relief washed over Olivia, followed quickly by terror as she realized what might come next. So, Mr. Chen continued, would you be willing to fill in for Raj at the concert? Not for everything, he added quickly, seeing the panic in her eyes. We can simplify some of the more complex parts. I don't know. Please, Zoe pleaded. We're desperate, added Diego. Mr. Chen raised a hand for quiet. Olivia, why don't we start with just one song? The opening number has a straightforward drum part. You can play that and we'll figure out the rest as we go. One song. That seemed manageable. Not the whole concert, just one piece with a simple rhythm. Olivia found herself nodding before she'd fully processed the decision. Okay. One song. The easy one. Excellent. Mr. Chen clapped his hands together. Let's run through it now, with the full band. The next hour was both terrifying and exhilarating. Playing alone was one thing. Playing with the entire band was another experience entirely. Olivia had to concentrate harder than she ever had before, keeping her part steady while listening to everyone else. There were rough spots, moments where she lost the beat or hit the wrong drum. But there were also moments of perfect synchronicity, where everything locked together and the music seemed to flow through her rather than from her. Good first attempt, Mr. Chen said afterward. Olivia, you'll need to practice that part until it's second nature. Can you commit to that? She nodded, a strange mix of exhaustion and excitement buzzing through her. And the rest of the concert? Zoe asked. What about the pieces with drum solos? We'll modify those parts, Mr. Chen decided. Kevin can handle the more complex arrangements. Olivia will play the simpler sections. Kevin, a sophomore who played percussion but had some drumming experience, nodded in agreement. So I'll split the drumming with Kevin, Olivia clarified, feeling both relieved and oddly disappointed. For now, yes, you'll play the opening number solo, and we'll tag team the rest. Kevin can handle the solos and the more technically demanding parts. It was a sensible arrangement. Olivia knew she should be grateful for the compromise. It took the pressure off while still allowing her to contribute. But a small part of her had started to imagine what it would feel like to play the whole concert, to really own the drum set rather than just visiting it for one song. After practice, Mr. Chen asked Olivia to stay behind. I want you to understand something, he said once the others had left. What you've accomplished in a few weeks is truly impressive. Most students take months to develop the coordination you already have. Thanks, Olivia mumbled, uncomfortable with the praise. But a spring concert isn't a practice session. People pay to attend. They expect quality. I know, she said quickly. The arrangement with Kevin makes sense. I'm not ready for more. Mr. Chen studied her. Yet there's a part of you that wants more, isn't there? Olivia didn't answer, but her expression must have given her away. I thought so. Mr. Chen smiled. How about this? Master your part for the opening number. Really master it. If you can play it flawlessly by next Monday, we'll talk about giving you more responsibility. Really? Hope fluttered in Olivia's chest. Really? But I mean flawlessly, Olivia. No missed beats, no hesitations, perfect dynamics. You'll need to practice every day. I will, she promised. Thank you, Mr. Chen. On her way out, she nearly collided with Mr. Rivera, who was arriving to clean the band room. I heard the news, he said with a knowing smile. Told you had talent. It's just one song, Olivia demurred. The easy one. For now, Mr. Rivera winked. But between you and me, I bet you'll be playing a lot more than that by concert night. The next 2 weeks became a blur of drumsticks and practice pads for Olivia. She practiced in the morning before school, during lunch break, after band rehearsal, and late into the night at home. Her fingers developed blisters that hardened into calluses. Her shoulders ached from maintaining proper posture. But with each passing day, her playing grew more confident, more precise. True to his word, Mr. Chen tested her the following Monday. Olivia played the opening number from memory without a single misstep. Very impressive, he said when she finished. You've clearly been putting in the hours. So? Olivia tried not to sound too eager. Do I get to play more at the concert? Mr. Chen considered her for a moment. Let's add the third piece to your lineup. It's similar in difficulty to the opener. Kevin will still handle the more complex arrangements. It wasn't everything, but it was progress. Olivia threw herself into learning the third piece with the same determination she'd applied to the first. By the end of the week, she had it nearly perfect. You're becoming a proper drummer, Mr. Rivera remarked one evening, finding her still practicing after everyone else had gone home. My son would be impressed. I'm still just a beginner, Olivia demurred, but inside she glowed at the compliment. We're all beginners at something, the custodian replied. The difference is whether you embrace it or fight it. The final week before the concert was intense. The entire band stayed late each day, polishing rough spots and running through transitions. Olivia and Kevin worked out a system for smoothly switching places between numbers. You're actually getting pretty good, Kevin told her after a particularly successful rehearsal. Not that I'm worried about my position or anything, he added with a grin. Your position is safe, Olivia laughed. I'm still figuring out how to do a basic roll without it sounding like I dropped a box of pencils. The night before the concert, Olivia could barely sleep. Her mind kept replaying her drum parts, obsessing over transitions and tempo changes. She'd come so far from the reluctant tambourine player who had joined band only for college applications. Now she genuinely cared about her performance, about contributing to the group's sound. Morning came too quickly. Classes dragged by in a fog of nervous anticipation. By the time last period rolled around, Olivia's stomach was in knots. You look like you're about to throw up, Zoe observed helpfully as they changed into their concert attire, black pants and white shirts, in the girls' locker room. Thanks for noticing, Olivia muttered, struggling with shaking hands to button her shirt correctly. Relax. You've practiced these pieces a million times. You could play them in your sleep. That's what I'm afraid of, Olivia said. What if I zone out and my mind goes blank? What if I forget everything? Zoe turned Olivia by the shoulders to face her. Listen to me. You won't forget. Your muscles remember even if your brain freezes. Trust your hands. They know what to do. It was surprisingly good advice. As Olivia took her place behind the drum set for the pre-concert warm-up, she focused on the familiar feel of the sticks in her hands, the placement of the drums around her. Her body did know what to do. She just had to get out of her own way and let it happen. Mr. Chen gathered them for a final pep talk. Remember why we make music, he said. Not for perfect performances, but to create something beautiful together. To communicate something words alone cannot express. Support each other out there. Listen to each other. And most of all, enjoy the moment. His eyes met Olivia's briefly, and she saw a quiet confidence there that helped steady her own nerves. Parents and students began filing into the auditorium. Through a gap in the curtains, Olivia spotted her mom and dad in the front row, just as promised. Her mom waved excitedly at anyone in a band uniform, clearly hoping to catch a glimpse of her daughter. Great, Olivia groaned. They're right in the center. They'll see every mistake. They'll see their daughter playing drums in her first concert, Kevin corrected. That's all they care about. The house lights dimmed. Mr. Chen stepped onto the conductor's podium. Olivia took a deep breath and raised her sticks, ready for his cue to begin the opening number. The piece started with a drum roll, building tension before the full band entered. Olivia's hands moved almost of their own accord, muscle memory taking over where conscious thought failed. The sound filled the auditorium, washing away her anxiety. There was no room for fear now, only music. Before she knew it, the first piece was over. Applause rippled through the audience as she exchanged places with Kevin for the second number. Backstage, Olivia felt lightheaded with relief. "You crushed it," Zoe whispered, giving her a quick side hug before returning to her position. The second piece went smoothly, and then it was Olivia's turn again for the third. This one featured more interaction between the drums and the wind section, call and response patterns that required careful listening. She nailed every entrance, every dynamic shift. By intermission, Olivia was flying high on adrenaline and accomplishment. She had played her parts without a single major mistake. The rest of the concert would be Kevin's responsibility, which was both a relief and a slight disappointment. Part of her wasn't ready to relinquish the drum throne. "You were fantastic," her mother gushed, finding her in the hallway during the break. "I had no idea you could play like that." "It's just the basic stuff, Mom," Olivia said, though she couldn't keep the smile from her face. "Kevin handles the hard parts in the second half." "Well, I think you're a natural," her dad chimed in. "Got your old man's sense of rhythm." He demonstrated with an awkward little dance move that made Olivia cringe and laugh at the same time. As her parents returned to their seats, Olivia noticed a commotion near the band room. Several students were gathered around Kevin, who sat slumped in a chair looking pale. "What's going on?" she asked, pushing through the small crowd. "Kevin's sick," Diego explained. "Like really sick. Pretty sure he caught that stomach bug that's been going around." Sure enough, Kevin looked awful. His face was the color of old paste and a sheen of sweat covered his forehead. "I'll be fine," he insisted, though his voice was weak. "Just need a minute." Mr. Chen arrived, took one look at Kevin, and shook his head. "You're not performing in this condition. Someone call his parents to pick him up." "But who's going to play drums for the second half?" Zoe asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. All eyes turned to Olivia. Her momentary triumph evaporated, replaced by cold panic. "No," she said, backing away. "I can't. The second half has all the complex stuff, the solos, the odd time signatures. I haven't practiced those parts." Mr. Chen pulled her aside, speaking quietly so the others couldn't hear. "Olivia, we have 3 options. 1, cancel the second half entirely. 2, perform without a drummer, which will ruin pieces specifically arranged for percussion. Or 3, you step in and do your best, but I'll mess it up," Olivia whispered. "Everyone will hear how bad I am. Everyone will hear a student who had the courage to try," Mr. Chen countered. "And I suspect you know those parts better than you're admitting. I've seen you watching Kevin during rehearsals, your hands moving along with his patterns." He was right. Olivia had spent hours observing Kevin, mentally mapping his parts, sometimes practicing them quietly on her leg or a practice pad while he played. "We can simplify the solos," Mr. Chen offered. "Just play straight time through those sections. No one will fault you for that." The second half of the concert featured rhythmic conversations, the showpiece of their program. It included an extended drum solo that Raj had originally written, which Kevin had modified to suit his own style. The thought of attempting even a simplified version was terrifying, but the alternative, letting down the entire band, was worse. "Okay," Olivia finally agreed. "I'll do it, but don't expect miracles." Mr. Chen squeezed her shoulder. "I've learned to always expect miracles from students who don't realize what they're capable of." The second half began with a slower piece that gave Olivia time to settle her nerves. The drum part was manageable, mostly keeping time with occasional fills. She made it through with only a few minor stumbles. Then came rhythmic conversations. The piece began with a delicate interplay between woodwinds and brass, building gradually toward the percussion feature. Olivia's heart hammered in her chest as her entrance approached. The band dropped to a hushed dynamic, creating the space for the drum solo. Mr. Chen gave Olivia an encouraging nod as he cued her in. Time seemed to slow down. Olivia was acutely aware of every eye on her parents, her bandmates, the entire audience. She could play it safe, stick to the basic beat as Mr. Chen had suggested. But something else took over. In that moment, all the hours of secret practice, all the YouTube tutorials, all the patterns she'd worked out on her practice pad came together. Olivia stopped thinking and started feeling. Her hands moved across the drum set with a fluidity she hadn't known she possessed. She started simple, building a groove that nodded to Raj's original solo but took on a life of its own. Her right foot worked the bass drum in syncopated patterns while her hands created conversations between the snare and toms. She caught Mr. Chen's startled expression, saw it transform into amazed delight as she continued. The band watched in disbelief as their tambourine player, the reluctant beginner, unleashed a drum solo that had the audience leaning forward in their seats. Olivia lost herself in the moment in the pure joy of creation. This wasn't about college applications anymore. This was about discovery, finding a voice she never knew she had. When it came time for the band to re-enter, she locked eyes with Mr. Chen, giving him a slight nod that she was ready for his cue. The rest of the piece flowed like water, Olivia and the band moving as one organism, connected by rhythm and shared purpose. As the final note faded, there was a moment of silence, that magical pause between performance and response. Then the audience erupted. People rose to their feet, applauding wildly. Olivia saw her parents standing, her mother wiping tears, her father beaming with pride. The standing ovation continued as Mr. Chen gestured for Olivia to stand. Her legs felt shaky as she rose from behind the drum set, hardly believing what had just happened. In that moment, surrounded by the sound of applause and the smiling faces of her bandmates, Olivia realized something profound. Sometimes our greatest talents are discovered not when we're striving for recognition, but when we're simply answering a call to help others. The days following the spring concert passed in a dreamlike haze for Olivia. In the hallways, students who had never spoken to her before stopped to congratulate her. Teachers who didn't even know she was in band mentioned her performance. Someone had recorded the concert on their phone, and clips of her drum solo were circulating through the school's social media. "This is weird," she told Zoe during lunch. "Last week I was just the new tambourine girl. Now people are treating me like I'm famous or something." "Because what you did was incredible," Zoe said, stabbing a French fry for emphasis. "You should have seen Mr. Chen's face when you started that solo. I thought his eyes were going to pop out of his head." Mr. Chen had been surprisingly calm after the initial shock wore off. When Olivia apologized for deviating from the simplified version they had discussed, he just laughed. "Apologize for what? For showing extraordinary musicality, for trusting your instincts, for giving the audience a moment they'll remember for years?" He shook his head. "Never apologize for making music that comes from the heart, Olivia." Even Raj, still sporting a blue cast on his wrist, had texted her, "Dude, where were you hiding those chops? That solo was fire." The most surprising reaction, though, came from her parents. That night after the concert, they had taken her out for ice cream, a tradition from when she was little after any special occasion. "We're so proud of you," her mom said, reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. "Not just for how well you played, but for stepping up when the band needed you." "You know what impressed me the most?" her dad added. "The look on your face when you were playing. I've never seen you so alive." Olivia stirred her hot fudge sundae, unsure how to respond. They were right. Something had awakened in her during that performance, a connection to music she hadn't known was possible. "So," her dad continued, "we've been thinking, if you're serious about this drumming thing, maybe we should look into private lessons. There's a music school downtown that offers scholarships." Olivia nearly choked on her ice cream. "Really? You'd be okay with that?" "Okay with it?" Her mom laughed. "Honey, we'd be thrilled. All we've ever wanted is for you to find something you're passionate about." "But what about college applications?" Olivia asked. "I thought that's why you signed me up for band in the first place." Her parents exchanged guilty looks. "Well, yes," her mom admitted. "But that was before we saw how much music clearly means to you. College is important, but so is finding your path." The conversation shifted something fundamental in Olivia's relationship with her parents. For the first time, she felt truly seen by them, not as a future college applicant or a grade point average, but as a person with her own unique gifts and desires. A week after the concert, Mr. Chen asked Olivia to stay after practice. "I've been thinking about next year," he said, sorting through sheet music on his desk. "Raj will be graduating, which leaves an opening for a principal percussionist." Olivia's heart skipped a beat, but there are other students with more experience. "Experience isn't everything," Mr. Chen replied. "Natural ability, dedication, musicality, these matter too. And you've demonstrated all three. Are you offering me the position? I'm offering you the chance to work for it. Summer band camp starts in July. That gives you 3 months to develop your skills. If you're willing to put in the effort, I believe you could be ready by fall." "I don't even have my own drum set," Olivia said, though her mind was already racing with possibilities. "The band room is open most days during summer, and I happen to know Mr. Rivera comes in 3 days a week to maintain the facilities." Olivia smiled at the implied permission to use the school's equipment over break. "Thank you, Mr. Chen. I won't let you down." "I know you won't." He handed her a stack of sheet music. "Start with these. They're percussion exercises arranged by difficulty. Master them in order." That summer became the most transformative period of Olivia's young life. 3 days a week, she rode her bike to school, where Mr. Rivera would let her into the band room with a knowing wink. "Just like my son," he'd say. "Can't keep away from those drums." She worked through Mr. Chen's exercises methodically, recording herself to catch mistakes. She watched videos of famous drummers, studying their techniques and styles. On weekends, her parents took her to live music venues where she could observe professional percussionists in action. By July, when summer band camp began, Olivia had progressed far beyond what Mr. Chen had expected. She wasn't just playing the exercises, she was interpreting them, adding her own flourishes, finding her unique voice within the structured patterns. "You've been holding out on me," he said after her first assessment. "Again." Olivia grinned. "I like surprising you." The other students noticed the change too. No longer the reluctant newbie, Olivia had become a dedicated musician who helped younger students with their rhythm and timing. Even Raj, who returned for band camp before heading off to college, treated her as a peer rather than a beginner. "You know," he told her during a water break, "I was worried about who would take over after I left. Not anymore." "I've got huge shoes to fill," Olivia replied. "Nah." Raj shook his head. "Don't try to fill my shoes, find your own footwear. Your style is different from mine, more intuitive, less technical. That's a good thing." As summer wound down, Mr. Chen called a meeting with the percussion section to announce his decision for principal percussionist. "After careful consideration," he said, looking at each of them in turn, "I've decided to appoint Olivia Reeves as principal percussionist for the coming year." There were no objections. The other students had seen her transformation, witnessed her dedication. The appointment felt natural, earned. "Additionally," Mr. Chen continued, "I'd like Olivia to work with me on arranging a new percussion feature for our winter concert, something that showcases our section's strengths." Arranging music was completely new territory for Olivia, but she found herself nodding eagerly. Every new challenge now felt like an opportunity rather than a burden. The first day of her senior year arrived with a mixture of excitement and nostalgia. So much had changed since this time last year, when she'd dreaded joining band and seen it only as a checkbox for college applications. After school, she headed straight to the music room, arriving early as had become her habit. The room was empty except for Mr. Chen, who was updating the bulletin board with the year's concert schedule. "Ah, Ms. Reeves," he greeted her, always the first to arrive. "I've got something for you." He led her to his office and pulled out a small box tied with a simple ribbon, a welcome gift for our new principal percussionist. Inside was a beautiful pair of professional drumsticks, the wood polished to a warm glow, her name engraved along the shaft. "These are gorgeous," Olivia breathed, testing their weight in her hands. "A craftsman near my hometown makes them," Mr. Chen explained. "I get a pair for each principal player. It's tradition." Olivia ran her fingers over the engraved letters. "I never thanked you properly for giving me a chance last year when I had no idea what I was doing. You had something more important than experience," Mr. Chen said. You had heart, and you were willing to try, even when it was scary. As other students began filtering into the room, Olivia took her place behind the drum set, her new sticks in hand. The weight of them felt right, like they belonged there. Looking around at the band room that had once felt so foreign, at the instruments that had once seemed so intimidating, Olivia realized how completely her perspective had changed. What had started as an obligation had become a passion. What had been an escape from her parents' expectations had become a bridge connecting them more deeply. The first-year students filed in, looking nervous and out of place, just as she had a year ago. One girl was assigned the tambourine, her expression a mix of disappointment and relief at the seemingly simple task. During a break in rehearsal, Olivia approached her. That tambourine part is more important than you think, she said, remembering Mr. Chen's words from her first day. It adds color and texture that the whole band relies on. The girl looked up, surprised. Really? It seems so basic compared to what everyone else is doing. Everything starts somewhere, Olivia replied. Even the most complicated journey begins with a single step, or a single beat. The girl suggested with a small smile. Exactly. Olivia demonstrated a more efficient way to hold the tambourine. Who knows? You might discover something about yourself through this basic instrument. Like what? Olivia thought about everything that had happened since she reluctantly joined band. The friends she'd made, the confidence she'd gained, the joy she'd discovered in creating music, and the deeper connection she'd formed with her parents and herself. Like the rhythm that's been inside you all along, she said. Sometimes we need the simplest instruments to hear our own beat. As the year progressed, Olivia continued to grow as a musician. She helped arrange a percussion-focused piece for the winter concert that received a standing ovation. She started a weekly drum circle that attracted students from across the school, not just band members. She even began teaching basic drumming to elementary school students as part of an outreach program. When college application season arrived, Olivia found herself facing a very different set of choices than she had imagined a year earlier. Several music schools had expressed interest after seeing videos of her performances. Her parents, true to their word, supported her exploration of these options alongside more traditional academic paths. One evening, as she sat at the kitchen table surrounded by brochures and application forms, her brother Leo peered over her shoulder. So, he said, still think band was totally pointless? Olivia laughed, tapping a rhythm on the table with her pencil. I think it was the most important wrong assumption I ever made. Sometimes, she reflected, our greatest discoveries happen not when we're searching for them, but when we're simply open to possibilities we never imagined for ourselves. She had been told to play a simple rhythm, but that rhythm had opened the door to a whole new world, one that had been waiting for her all along, beating in time with her heart.